I anticipated that England would have to go through France in order to make it to the Euro final, and this this feels like 2021 in a way that this is another chance, to not bottle it if you make it to the final. And basically, um, England beat Ukraine. They beat uh, Denmark. They beat a weakened German side to make the final. And France on the other side of the bracket with Portugal and Spain and Germany means that this is good news also for Italia. So we are really looking at Italia or England to make it to the final on that side of the bracket. If people are wondering about Gareth Southgate, well, how do you script this championship for England? You basically put all the good sides on the opposite side of the bracket, opposite the three lions. On that side of the bracket, Germany has to go through Spain to make it to the semifinal. France has to make it past Portugal to make it to the semifinal. The side of the bracket of death is the one that has Germany, Spain, France, and Portugal. It is official. Ralph Ragnac and his guys, with the amount of goals that they score, the system that he plays, the amount of running that they do, Austria is going to be the dark horse team on that side of the bracket. Ukraine is also a dark horse for me to make it to the quarterfinals and potentially beyond. Well, not beyond. I think the best Ukraine can do is make it to the quarterfinal. But this is an amazing opportunity if you have a team collectively that has Kane and Foden and Bellingham, and you don't even have to face Germany and Spain and France and Portugal until the final. And if they script it for England to make it to the final, there's just no chance they'll lose two straight finals. They won't do that. But 96 months after the Queen's death at 96 years of age, what we are looking at is the fact that the Queen has some German descent on her side of the lineage. I think they had to change her her name uh, over to Windsor because she could not have too much of a Germanic sounding name. So there's something to that with a little bit of the German ancestry of Queen Elizabeth that may tie into this tournament being held at Germany in a big way. Basically, England have won this Euro. Gareth Southgate, Gareth Southgate. Well, they know what they're doing, don't they? If you have Gareth Southgate and anything can happen in the final, it's not like they don't need a miracle because you have top-notch players. And let's not ignore the Man City players too, like Kyle Walker and John Stone. So it's not just the front line guys, it's your back line Man City guys too that have played a lot of big matches. And Italia look far weak than they do in 2021. So I think England could have a chance of revenge against Italia, although nothing is for certain against Switzerland. Although what helps Italia is that I think they will win back at Berlin where they won the World Cup final. They're playing Roberto Martinez winning the Euro on the strong side of the bracket. Just oof, he's awful. He's awful. Pinato's ego. How long is he gonna go without a goal? How long is he gonna go without a goal? He's gonna demand goals. He is still an egomaniac at the end of the day. This is what Ronaldo thinks. He thinks he can make up for it against Georgia. He thinks he scored 2 goals against Georgia. That's exactly why he passed the ball. And the reason why he passed the ball was he didn't have any choice. But he knows he would have been, it is all a PR move. He would have been criticized by the media even if he shot and scored a goal. They're like, he's a selfish player. He's a selfish player. Pinato had no choice because he cares about his image. He's a PR narcissistic egomaniac. This is what he is at the end of the day. So he knew he was going to get ripped up to shreds if he decided to shoot on goal. He had no choice but to pass it to Bruno Fernandes because it's good PR. Good PR beats into the Eagle, and he thinks he can score a brace against Georgia. That's exactly what he had in mind at the time when he passed it to Bruno Fernandes. No, he's not winning the Euro this year. France are not winning anything until Zidane becomes the manager. This team is awful. They have scored 0 goals in open play. The only goals being scored through penalty and own goal. They're on the rough side of the bracket. This team is cooked against Germany. They might be cooked against Spain. The one thing helping France against Portugal may be Roberto Martinez, who's more incompetent. Deschamps, he can't find balance. Roberto Martinez, he failed with Belgium. I tell you, all these failures will help Germany. It doesn't matter if Germany on the strong side of the bracket. France are failures right now. They are underachieving. You will not win a Euro with that much of an awful, pissy highlight reel. This is a terrible highlight reel. What's going to happen? We're going to face off against... And think about it for a second. Think about it for a second. Austria should have had a corner, and they immediately score after the referee fails to give them the corner. They were lucky they scored against Austria, and that was never ever a disallowed goal. That was a Netherlands goal, so it would have been even worse for France if they didn't rig it again in favor of France. That goal should have stood. The goalie was not stopping that shot, regardless if his position was impeded by the defender. France will not win any trophy until Zidane becomes the list boss manager. Zidane is someone who's going to be much more balanced as far as his tactical approaches. Deschamps will play for bloody 1-0. He doesn't just kill games off. That is the problem. You need Zidane. You can go up 2-0 at the half. You don't keep an opponent in it. Anything can happen. There's no code for France. None. 0. What there is a code for is they will win trophies when Zidane becomes the manager. Otherwise, if they keep on winning, Deschamps stays on. But France have to fail to make it to finals because France failing to make finals means they can finally move on from Deschamps. Now, why did Deschamps stay? Because they made it to the World Cup final. If France didn't make it to the World Cup final, Deschamps would not have stayed on for an extension. So you have to get rid of Deschamps. How do you get rid of Deschamps? France can't make it to finals. If they didn't make it to the World Cup final, they would have moved on with Zidane. By having France lose and falling short in the World Cup, it would mean that he's not overachieving to stay on. It would have been too unfair to get rid of Deschamps by making it to another World Cup final. But if he does fail to make it to the Euro final in the World Cup final, then you have an excuse to kind of reboot and reset with Zinedine Zidane. So yeah, France are still going to stay good. But as far as trophies, they're done winning that. They're done winning that with this current manager. Deschamps may be defined more by his failure. And if he's defined more by his failure, if Zidane in 3 seasons won 3 Champions League titles with Ronaldo, And if Zidane becomes France manager, they can win both the World Cup and the Euro. Now, the year I'm thinking about is 2030, and the Euro would be between 2028 and 2032. Kind of hard to see the French winning on English soil, but Zidane's come out to 32. They can win the Euro 32 years after 2000. France did win a Nations League at Italia. I mean, if Italy does host the Euros in 2032, then that could be a year that could see France win a Euro, win their next trophy. So really, it's up to the year that they win the Euro. It's up to it's between 2028 and 2032. And I believe they do win the World Cup because France won the first World Cup match in 1930. They won the inaugural World Cup match. But their time, it's over. Pinato's time, it's over. Spain, we got to see more. We got to see more from Spain because Croatia are not that good. They drew against Albania, right? You really think they're going to lose against Slovakia? I mean, just look at the matchups. They're not going to lose to Slovakia. All they need is a point anyways. All they need is a draw. That's all they need to do to advance. All they need is a draw. Because England has 4, second place has 2. All they need is a draw and they're through. That's all they need. But it's Slovakia. They're not any good. Or is it Slovenia? Yeah, it's Slovenia. Slovakia, I think, is in Belgium's group. Well, that group is interesting. I think Ukraine can get something against Belgium because there's a good narrative for Ukraine to bring a feel-good story back home in the war-torn region as a result of the Russian invasion, all that. I'm going to win the Euro with good old Southgate, Southgate by avoiding these 4 teams mentioned until a Euro final. That's how. I think it's a bonus if they avoid both Portugal and France. These bookies always make money, man. They always make money. They say it's football, anything can happen, it's football. Well, 2021, Italy won the Euro. 2016, a weak Portugal team that could only settle for draws. That is not the team that they are right now. Portugal finished in 3rd place and they won the Euro in 2016. Well, remember Germany and Portugal in the last Euro, 2 own goals by Portugal allowed Germany to win 4-2. So when I think about all of the own goals in this tournament, then I believe it would just make sense. Germany-Portugal in the semifinal, if I had to think about it. That Germany did lose against France in the 2016 Euro, so if it is Germany-France, then Germany beat France, I think it was a quarterfinals or round of 16 when they won the World Cup. Then Germany, they were defending champions. They lost against France in Euro 2016. But I think the more intriguing matchup, I think, is Germany against Portugal. Portugal and Germany both have Gematria 38. Deschamps against firepower. Just go with Portugal. If France have scored 0 goals in open play, then why not? Portugal beat France. In Portugal and Germany could be an electric 3-3 game or something like that. Who knows? I think Germany and Portugal would bring the entertainment factor to the Euro semifinals. So that's kind of, we'll have the bracket. I will have my bracket tomorrow, obviously. There's one more day of matches after tomorrow. But if you like fireworks, if you like excitement, then Germany against Portugal does it for me. I think a quarterfinal exit would mean that, hey, everyone, I think it's good for the media if they start with the Zidane rumors. The media, they need something to write about. The media, France crashed out of this tournament. Is a Euro harder than the World Cup? They're going to be talking about it for 2 years. Zidane, France Football Federation considering Zidane. They'll talk about Zidane in the post match. You need something to talk about. So the Zidane, blah blah blah, all this that's what helps the media. If and it's not if France loses, it's when France loses. Okay, they're absolute crap. They're losing. Berlin hasn't been too kind to the French. 2006, Olympia Stadium. Spain, we got to see how they do against a real team because Italia sucked. Okay, it was a great moment of brilliance from Calafiori, but pretty bad. They looked only good for 2 minutes against Croatia. Croatia. They looked good for 2 minutes against Croatia, then 15 minutes against Albania. The rest of the tournament, Italia were crap. So, but then Italia gets a chance to defend their trophy if they avoid those 4 teams that I mentioned. Because if Italia beat Switzerland, if England win, assuming they win the group today, Italia-England would be the quarterfinal matchup. Even though Italia has beaten England in the penalty kicks in 2012 quarterfinal, the Pirlo Panenka, they won 2-0 in the group stage of the World Cup 2014. Both England and Italia lost. Uruguay, Costa Rica advanced that year. Italia won the penalty shootout, obviously, in the 2021 World Cup final. But it seems like in recent years in knockout competitions, Italia have not beaten England in a regular knockout tie in 90 minutes. So I think, England got to feel good that, they're not losing to Italia in regulation, with the exception of the group stage in 2014. Well, Roy Hodgson was the manager. It was pretty bad. So yeah, that's what was different about that England team in 2014. But I kind of pictured Italian. Well, I mean, I guess. Let's see the rest of the teams there. I mean, Austria, I think, are going to be on the bracket where I think they've updated this on FOTMob. I think, Austria are going to be a dark horse team, and I mean, because they can score goals. Obviously, they've had very good qualifying campaign. I don't know why it's not updating yet with the Netherlands, or the Netherlands finished third. That's right, Netherlands. Well. Where's Austria in the knockout? So Austria gonna be. I think Austria could give England a tough time. They play very aggressive attacking style of play that could present a challenge. So I'm not gonna write off Austria. Austria get to avoid Italia and England too. So look at Austria too. Well, what was the Anschluss? The annexation of Czechoslovakia and Austria. So if Austria do have a chance to make it to Germany, I guess, where I think Austria, they have significant German populations. So that's what stands out to me with Austria. The Anschluss, the annexation of Czechoslovakia and Austria, because there are a lot of German-speaking peoples. That's kind of what Putin did with Crimea and invading Ukraine, was that there's a lot of people that spoke Russian that were of Slavic descent. So Putin is trying to do something similar right now. It's not very favorable right now. Ukraine want the Russians out of. But anyway, Austria gets to avoid England and Italia until a semifinal. So definitely keep an eye out on Austria. And Austria would have to go through the winner of Group B. If Austria face off against Belgium, Austria would beat Belgium. Now, if Ukraine win the group, holy hell! But I think Austria can end the Belgium golden generation, assuming that by probability, I think Ukraine can get a result. It won't surprise me. Belgium could potentially finish third. I mean, Ukraine could easily win. It won't surprise me if Ukraine beat um, Belgium. But depending on what happens with the other match, that's the most interesting group because each team has 3 points. So each team could advance depending on how the other game does, how they do in their game. But I think Ukraine find a way to qualify for the round of 16. Lenin, the Real Madrid keeper, and Mudryk, uh, Shevchenko. So there's a couple big names there with Ukraine. I think Ukraine Belgium be a good game. I'll go you. I think I'll go Ukraine winning that one. Let's see how we doing with the Golden Boot. How we doing with the Golden Boot? I don't think anyone has said. Well, the own goal has the Golden Boot right now, but I think there's a lot of guys tied for two. Well, Mbappe has one and Kane has one. So Kane, if he scores, he'll be kind of equalized with Musala. I think he has 2 goals. I don't know. A lot of other German players have 1 goal. There's no one on Spain that has 2 goals. So okay, George is going to be out of the Euro. So Georges, Mikel, Tadzi. It's not going to stay. Cody Gakpo has 2 goals. Ivan Schranz of Slovakia going to be out. So I think if Harry Kane scores 2 goals, he'll be tied with Musala and Fulkrug and Gakpo, and we'll see how Pinato does against Georgia. But I like Kane to win the Golden Boot before the tournament. I like Harry Kane to win the Golden, especially on the side of the bracket. So Harry Kane is a very strong odds-on player to win a Golden Boot, and who knows if it's St. Jude that saves today. Um, but it's a rigid structure. I think England will try to play the ball to the forward most of the time, and we'll see if and Kane is the designated penalty taker. So I like Kane to win Golden Boot. He should win Golden Boot. Ukraine is my dark horse. They're still my dark horse. I think if you want to be a dark horse, you got to be outside the favorites. Austria would be number 2 as far as dark horses goes. But anyway, that's it. If you're wondering about England, well, just understand there is a reason why they avoid France and Portugal and Spain and Germany. It's because it has been written. It has been written. Not due to luck or anything, but due to rigged matches. If you wonder why Croatia Italia could have been rigged, what if they want to write the England Italia rematch? I don't think you can't ignore the own goals scored in Germany and Portugal. The fact that this tournament has a lot of own goals, I mean, Germany against Portugal in the semifinals. See, great Penaltin loses against Portugal. He loses against Germany. Uh, Messi will show that bum how to beat Germany. Argentina are going to beat Germany in the World Cup. It's either World Cup or the finalissimo. Of course, Messi's going to defeat Germany at some point.